Good day. My name is Pearl, and I am going to report about knowledge management system. As we move into a more digital world, every one of us and every item and machine that we use generates more and more information for us to process. The challenge now for each company or organization is to capture the relevant stream of information and turn this into knowledge. The second big challenge is to capture and process the most valuable information, which typically resides in each employee's mind. It is not an easy task. Both of these challenges can be addressed through implementing a proper management strategy supported by the correct tools. My three main points for this presentation will be focused on the topic of knowledge management system. I will be introducing to you knowledge management and knowledge management system, how to implement it, and its importance. I am starting the presentation by giving you definitions of what knowledge management is. First, it is a discipline within an organization that ensures that the intellectual capabilities of that organization are shared, maintained, and institutionalized. It is a process of systematically and actively managing and leveraging the stores of knowledge in an organization. It is a discipline that promotes an integrated approach to identifying, capturing, evaluating, retrieving, and sharing all of an enterprise information assets. These assets may include database, documents, policies, procedures, and previously uncaptured expertise and experience in an individual worker. Speaking about knowledge itself, it begins with a data. A data can exist in a variety of forms, as numbers or text on a piece of paper, or bytes stored in electronic memory, or facts stored in a person's mind. As we have the data, we move the data to be processed into information. Information is the data that has been processed in such a way that it is meaningful to the person who receives it. After we have the information, we apply it based on experience. Information combined with experience, then it is knowledge. Knowledge, when applied, reflected upon, embedded with values and beliefs, now becomes the wisdom, the topmost of the triangle. Now there are two types of knowledge. First is explicit knowledge or the know what knowledge. Explicit knowledge is knowledge that is readily articulated, codified, and shared without discussion. These include data, information, documents and records, and files that are easy to retrieve and communicate. Once shared, it belongs to everyone and can be seen above the water. They comprise 20% of the total knowledge. In the mid-1990s, another type of knowledge, the tacit knowledge, was introduced. Tacit knowledge, or the know-how or intuitive knowledge, is hard to communicate. It is considered as the most valuable source of knowledge that intuitively lead to breakthrough, creating long-term advantage. Unlike explicit knowledge, it is not handled well by IT. It requires people to interact, to trust, and it requires time. It is rooted in action, commitment, and involvement. It can be accessed on only a first-person basis. Tacit and explicit knowledge are not totally separate, but they are mutually complementary entities. Now let us proceed to knowledge management system. Knowledge management system is a system that is used for the application as well as the utilization of knowledge management within an organization. Such a system is considered just one part of the overall concept of knowledge management, but is an important part. Knowledge management systems are of many types, and the main purpose they fulfill is that of storing as well as retrieving important data, information, and knowledge. Some of the other purposes they serve include the collaboration of data, locating various resources of knowledge, enhancing the knowledge management process, and data mining. The following is a list of some of the different categories or other types of knowledge management systems. Content management system, semantic networks, groupware systems, simulation tools, the internet and extranet, artificial intelligence tools, data warehousing, data mining, document management system, decision support system. They are just part of the categories or types of the knowledge management system. Now, the question is how to implement knowledge management system. There are several steps to implement it. Now let's discuss the first. The first step is to identify the various business issues by conducting an internal analysis of your firm. Unless you know what the problem areas are, you won't be able to align the knowledge management system with the business goals and objectives. You must try to evaluate or assess the variety and quantity of the information that your business has stored in databases, on the web, as well as that which employees possess through their personal experiences and knowledge. Efforts must be made to do a cost-benefit analysis, evaluate the complexity of system structures, and get to know training costs and security issues, including updating costs and analyze existing business practices. The second step includes preparing for the transition. Now, once problem areas has been identified, the next step is to prepare yourself, your employees, as well as the entire workplace for the transition. Application and implementation of KM systems deal with cultural changes at the workplace, rather than change in technology alone. Your employees may try to resist the change or may even try to oppose it. To avoid this or to deal with it, you must follow a smart or wise approach and bring about gradual changes. You can provide them with aid and training to adapt to new systems and make sure this phase is dealt with patience and understanding. Now, for the third step, you must get together a dedicated team. To make the implementation of knowledge management system, a strong team with an experienced team leader is extremely important. You cannot execute the implementation process without putting someone in charge. Getting together a dedicated team helps to streamline the implementation and get a focused approach for reaching the objective. You must bring together a team consisting a wide range of expertise so that the skills and experience of each team member can be united for a high impact result. The next step is to evaluate and assess the various technology needs and then prioritize them. You must try to figure out the various sources of knowledge needed to solve this business problem. In order to implement knowledge management systems throughout the workplace, it is imperative to know the potential costs that will be incurred, the expertise and the technology tools that you currently don't possess but would be required. Identification of what is needed and then evaluating what you have already got will help you determine what is missing. Now the next step involves determining the major aspects and attributes of knowledge management systems. You need to define the key features by drafting a checklist to make sure that the technology that you will be acquiring will be able to address the business problem and will also enhance the overall profitability. The following are some of the key features of KMS. Open systems are those which enable the employees to have access to any information from their current location. Distributed systems are such systems whose components are well distributed across various servers so as to enable access of knowledge to various branches or offices of your business across the globe. The system must be measurable in a sense that it must be able to measure who accesses which information from which location and so on. Measurable systems enable better management and analysis of the effectiveness of the overall knowledge management within your organization. And KMS must be extremely customizable and flexible in order to make a way for better usability and better individual experience. A KMS must be secure for the threat of loss of information and the threat of duplication and other security issues. The sixth phase would be the rolling out of the building blocks. The implementation process of your knowledge management system must be a phased-out process to ensure that the overall objective can be divided into smaller goals to ease out procedure and make it more efficient. The seventh phase would include linking knowledge to people. So when your organization is faced with a certain business problem, then the help of knowledge databases may be needed. These databases are not just records and reports of existing information, but also solutions or knowledge possessed by employees. There are two major ways to do so, and there are as follows. First is a knowledge directory. A knowledge directory helps employees of your company to find out subject-specific experts within the organization so that they can share the knowledge possessed by them. This could act as a platform where a user can find out the list of experts who are most capable of solving a particular problem. This very link between people and knowledge makes knowledge management different from other applications that manage explicit knowledge. The second would be content management. Content management also forms a crucial part of knowledge management system and is another way to link people with knowledge. You must hire content managers or use the existing ones who will be responsible for gathering information, editing, and updating it, as well as ensuring that it is useful and accurate. Maintenance of content or information is of vital importance and can prove to be a lot of importance when an employee is looking for a certain data for a project or for finding a business solution. The next step would be to launch your knowledge management system. With the help of a sufficient amount of funding, as well as important resources, the implementation of knowledge management system can be achieved. Now that you know what your goal is, and now that you have addressed the cultural issues and met the technology needs, it is time to launch the program. The next step and the last step would be to measure and constantly improve your knowledge management system. Only after launching or implementing company-wide knowledge management system will you come to the idea of knowing the areas that are not working as per your expectations. Thus, you have to formulate ways to measure the effectiveness of the program and then make efforts to fill the gaps and make required improvements. After making the improvements, compare old results with the new ones and measure the difference. Now that you know what knowledge management system is and how to implement it, the question would be, why do we need knowledge management? So here are the following points that makes KMS important. First, it creates knowledge and learning-based organization. One of the main benefits of having KMS is that it helps to make learning a habit, a routine for your organization, and creates a kind of culture that your workplace, which is inclined towards self-assessment as well as self-improvement. The knowledge gained through the process of KMS makes use of experience to improve processes and streamline operations. It also makes way for innovation and workplace changes. Managing knowledge regularly and actively through knowledge management systems also makes way for innovation and cultural change. It enables workplace employees to express their ideas and use creativity to perform tasks. It also makes way for better decision making. The huge database of information and knowledge is nothing less than an asset or wealth for your organization. Storing and then processing of this data can help you make some important decisions in an easier manner. When your manager or other employees have access to knowledge through a knowledge management system, they are more capable of making much more informed choices. It also leads to improved distribution of knowledge. Knowledge that previously resided in one individual is now made available on demand for the rest of your organization. It also leads to greater information accuracy and consistency. When everyone in an organization can access and contribute to a comprehensive internal knowledge base, then quality of information improves. It also leads to increased employee satisfaction. Knowledge workers want to share their knowledge and be recognized for it. KMS with gamification reward users for participating and lead to improved employee satisfaction. It also costs less time looking for answers. A comprehensive internal knowledge base with powerful search functions saves employees time in searching for answers to the questions and also reduces interruptions and distractions. This will also lead to faster onboarding of new employees. When new employees have a wealth of information at their fingertips, they immediately start finding answers to many questions they have. Lastly, it leads to retention of knowledge when employees leave. It captures the knowledge you pay your employees for and keep it, even if they move on to another position or organization. Now to relate KMS in healthcare. So to deliver a high-quality healthcare, doctors need to access, interpret, and share appropriate and localized medical knowledge. IT is widely used to facilitate the management of this knowledge in healthcare organizations through KMS. It is rapidly becoming essential for healthcare organizations to effectively manage both internal knowledge and externally generated knowledge in order to provide the best possible healthcare, achieve operational excellence, and foster innovation. Truly, KMS is a big plus factor to healthcare. Now, to end my report, I would like to quote that knowledge is the new capital, but it is worthless unless made accessible, communicated, and enhanced. Thank you.